had told my dad that they had been great parents and that I would do everything I could to take care of her and keep Mom safe. It wasn't long after Dad's passing that Mom needed constant help, so I quit my job and moved her into my home, where she lived for about 2 years. Then all of us kids decided it would be in her best interest to move her into the Hilty home, where we thought she would be more safe. To this day, I can't stop thinking how horrible a decision that was. From the very first week, it was unbelievable the hell she would have to soon endure. It started with the overdosing of meds that made her so sick she would throw up repeatedly, have diarrhea, the shakes, and sweat covering her entire body. The Hilty home staff acted like this was all normal. This went on for a long time before I finally came to my wits' end and asked to have a meeting to discuss Mom's meds and the way the staff seemed to not really care. After several of these meetings, Mom started getting worse. It got to the point where she was barely even responsive. She couldn't walk, talk, stand up, or even keep her eyes open. The only thing she could do was squeeze your fingers. When I would talk to staff about noticing her body shut down, they would tell me that it was just her disease getting worse. At nighttime, they had to give her medicine to calm her down, and as they said, protect her and protect the others. So my sister and I had another meeting. In this meeting, they were finally able to see for themselves that Mom had been overdosed. After they saw this on their computer, they asked my sister and I what they thought they should do. We told them to call us before she is heavily medicated. Please call us day or night at any time, and we will come there ourselves to help calm her down. So this is what the staff did for a while. After that, for the most part, Mom was starting to recover from all of the heavy medication. And we could finally go to the bowling alley, take a nice drive down a country road. All was good, until they neglected to do their job. And this was no accident either. They didn't check on her in her room. They deliberately unlocked secured doors and deliberately shut off alarms that were supposed to be on for everyone's safety. My mom walked around the nursing home for at least 2 hours before exiting the door to her death. That door had a lock at the top for the very purpose of safety reasons. It also inconvenienced the staff, so they shut the alarm off and unlocked the top lock to the doors that led outside. Let me remind everyone that this was also in the middle of winter and -2 degrees outside, and the alarms were shut off. I still can't believe that a staff member came into work and could hear voices in the courtyard where my mother was frozen to the cold ground below the swing set. It horrifies me every single day knowing that my mom went to every window and door in that courtyard, right across from the nurse's station, yelling, trying to get back inside, trying to find a way to warm her freezing body back up. But yet 10 hours will go by before the staff will realize that she's not in her room or nowhere to be found. Whenever my mom needed something, she would always yell, "Stephen, Stephen, help me, Stephen." This image replays in my head over and over, and my mom's poor frozen, frostbitten body froze to the ground.
I was the first to arrive at the Hilty home. The entrance was locked, so I walked around the back and past the home's inner courtyard play area, later finding out that I had just walked past my mother, who lay frozen to the ground under the swing set. My family, as well as my church family, gathered at the home in shock and disbelief, as there were police officers, sheriffs, emergency staff, and coroners, investigators everywhere. We were not even allowed to go into Mom's room, as it was blocked up as a crime scene. Later we found out that Mom was left unsupervised for over 8 hours and had been found outside frozen, frostbitten, no coat, gloves, or hat, with a bag of compost and a bottle of water laying beside her. We were also told that earlier that day that she was going to find her mom. I later received a personal phone call from the coroner, who was very sympathetic in relating to me the cause of Mom's death, being hypothermia. The coroner also revealed to me that my mom was physically healthy outside her Alzheimer's disease. We are very grief-stricken with the thought of Mom's early demise. Know that she still recognized each one of us, showed her love to us, and kept her sense of humor.
I really try and put myself in the shoes of the ones being sentenced today and ask maybe they were just overworked and the Hilty home should be held responsible for this. And then accountability steps in. Accountability is a self-realization that one is in fact responsible for their actions or lack of action in this case. I do not understand. Is there remorse? Are the ones at fault here today, no matter what the sentencing is, are they sorry? And do they care? Will they go on about their lives and think that I was charged for something that was out of my control? I know that I will never forget what happened to our grandmother, nor will I forget the faces who could have saved her. No training or schooling teaches us compassion, love, or the reflex to help when someone is in danger. So no, I cannot put myself in their shoes. If it were me working that night, knowing that I had several human beings that needed care, attention, and my security, without a doubt in my mind that this wouldn't have happened. We all will or already have at some point in our lives have to rely on the mercy of others. Phyllis, whether her mind was in the present or not, she relied not only on the Hilty home, but the three that were responsible for her that night into the early morning hours. It takes all members of the immediate team giving 100% of every minute of their shift, being constantly engaged, knowing and understanding the rules inside and out, and being proactive instead of doing what is most convenient. I hand it to the defense. An excellent job was done attempting to shift the blame and responsibility. Before I heard the specifics of the case, I would have agreed. It wasn't until I heard the events of that night that I was able to separate myself from the nurse that I had felt so badly for. My empathy turned to disbelief as I heard how lackadaisical everyone involved in her care had been. I spoke earlier about giving 100% of yourself, leaving it all in the field, per se. I would be able to be more understanding if this were the case, but it clearly was not. There was little to no concern shown towards my grandmother that night. Nursing care was based on misguided assumptions and negligence, and now it's time to take accountability. I believe your sentence has the power to set a precedent for the medical community regarding what will and will not be tolerated, sending a message to those in current practice and those thinking of entering the field that there is no room for assumptions and lies, and that each individual is responsible for the care they provide.